Everyone else is probably pretty happy with it. Colony, I think the other team that does tend to go down towards that southern island, so they'll be joining Fury. But for the most part, yeah, not a terrible playing path. Most teams are going to be pretty happy with that. It lets you get into the vast majority of the map without too much difficulty.
Man, that would be so unfortunate if 36 Cartel lose a player early on in the rotation. They've just had such a poor run of things here for week 3. Just nothing going their way, nothing working out for them. They're going to be careful pushing up now onto Potato Hill. Made in Thailand's got a couple of members over here already, Duckmans and Thanawat, but looks like they may actually just fall back a little bit and allow 36 Cartel to make their way to the top of the hill.
Well, 36 Cartel might be walking, or maybe in this case driving into a bit of a trap. Made in Thailand should be relatively aware that they were coming. We heard some vehicle noises. Ykikamucow starts off nicely, gets himself a kill onto Carlbs, and Colony will have to play the rest of this game with only the 3. Just a little bit of a rotation camp in there from Fury. They knew that Colony was going to try to get across the bridge, and they punished them for it. 36 Cartel, though, do have a bead onto Made in Thailand, and the way that Jacob is playing indicates to me that Made in Thailand weren't actually aware that 36 Cartel were coming up behind them. A little bit unlucky not to land all of those shots. There was a couple of players, I think, firing at Jacob and Thanawat, so eventually they get one. Player 4 knocking Thanawat, and I don't think he's going to get picked back up here by Made in Thailand, so too shabby from 36 Cartel. Seat swap from Cherry. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah, good stuff from 36 Cartel. Obviously nothing too flashy, but you don't really care about flashy. You just want to be clinical and able to get that kill without losing anyone, without it sort of backfiring in any way. Doesn't seem like they did a lot, but you know, those are just the little moments there that you obviously want to be able to really perfect, really moving forward when you've got these opportunities in this sort of lobby, and play to your strengths, and also make sure you don't overstep your boundaries. And yeah, nothing too crazy. Somewhat of a decent spot. The only thing would be maybe just keep their position on top of Potato Hill. Try not to push too far down, getting too bloodthirsty for these kills, like exactly what is happening right now. This is where it can all go balls up, like that vehicle. sSuspekT, unfortunately, just ran straight into it. Cherry, though, immediately able to just push in and able to find that kill onto Jacob. That could have gone way worse for 36 Cartel. Not the best send, not the cleanest one, but in the end, they still find the kill.
Kill's a kill. Doesn't matter how you get it. You have to take what comes. daytrade have been reasonably solid this evening. They haven't really made a deep run in any of the games, but a lot of the fights that they've been taking have worked out in their favor, so I've liked what I've seen. Said that a lot, though, and sometimes it tends to come a little unstuck for daytrade when push comes to shove. They just don't seem to be that team that can get it over the line a lot of the time. Alec has been knocked, but that is not going to be a kill that daytrade can confirm unless this grenade lands, and Flash looks like he's got a good one thrown in. Just a little bit too deep. Wasn't cooked long enough. Has another attempt here, but that one will also go flying over the heads of Alec and Killer. But the bullets will not. Alec dropping to the floor. Killer will have to do the same to try and med himself back up. Flash has found an angle onto Momonjii. And Killer, the last alive, is lying down right next to Flash at the moment. Molotov goes down into the pit, but daytrade overwhelm the Colony and take them out of the picture for game 3 of this evening.
Yeah, and they did something similar as well in the last game as well, daytrade. With that early fight, I believe it was onto Seiryu Esports on Miramar. Didn't obviously have the best finish. They did get 1v4'd by Smell, but at least good signs for daytrade so far here on week 3. They've got a decent amount of kills, but and once again, it's disappointing from daytrade nevertheless here for this entirety of PCS 5 APAC, as Van going to go down early. One of the strengths of Unicorn Phoenix in week 1 was their ability to sort of keep players alive and win a lot of fights early to the late game, and that's why they had like 89 kills in week 1. Unfortunately, since then, that has kind of dipped a little bit. Week 2 is still good, but even here in week 3, they're just losing players a little bit too easy early on, and when you lose players in this format, getting wins almost becomes impossible.
We've seen a lot of discussion around that over the last couple of seasons, that the chicken dinner format has been in place. Teams saying that if they can make it to the final stages with 4 alive, that is just such a massive bonus, even over having just 3. Like 3 normally you'd say not too bad, but just having that extra player on the board makes a massive difference. You think about maybe Fury's chances in that first game had Ronon not sort of dipped out. And they had 4 alive, and how that sort of ended up playing out for them. Overall, things that you have to consider coming into a tournament like this one, but we'll be seeing a little bit of a change up in the format when we do go to PGC. So a little bit of everything, a little bit of a good time for everyone, I suppose. Changing up the format. It's going to be nice for those teams that might have had a better time on previous formats. Either way, code is up on your screens now, ladies and gentlemen. That is something that I'm sure everyone in the chat is going to be quite eager to get their hands on. Seiryu, Unicorn Phoenix, and even Made in Thailand are kind of having a bit of a go at one another. Esqualusia, the last one alive here for Made in Thailand, and he's sort of the meat in the sandwich between these two big teams. MSC taking advantage of the defilades and ridge lines that have cropped up around Gatka. I should say Pachinki even, since that is where we are. But you know what I mean.
Hey, look, the Pachinki fields kind of do look like the Gatka fields. It's fine. 14 seconds until we head towards phase number 3. Kind of does feel like, is it going to be Pachinki fields, or is it going to be the edge of the south portion of the Gatka fields around sort of ArkAngel Predator's location? Looks like that will be the case. And compound remain for much longer anyway. 50 seconds until phase 4. Molu finds a kill onto Hungvo Ditch. Haven't spoken a whole lot about him, but filling in for Asba tonight. And player 4 going to be able to find that kill. 6 sacks, gets 1, couldn't quite get the second, unfortunately, but 1 is enough. And for Unicorn Phoenix, Jordan, they're going to be down to 1.
Yeah, that's absolutely ruined Unicorn Phoenix. Same thing could happen to Cerberus here on the rotate pass. They actually managed to get the knock on dNial, courtesy of a nice seat swap. I think it was from FAP. I didn't quite catch in the kill feed, but FAP has dropped to Ykikamucow, and Cerberus have run into the one team that they probably didn't want to. That's Fury, who deal with them quite accordingly. Cerberus inevitably do pull up inside of the yellows, just across the street, for lack of a better word, for Fury. So Cerberus get a position inside the zone, but it's really more of a staging ground. I was going to say, because inevitably they have to move. They don't actually quite have to just yet.
If we had a pretty open circle in our previous game for Miramar, this is going to be somewhat even more open. The fields, the very south fields of Gatka, is very open. A lot of hay bales, etc. Some shacks, maybe some huts to play out of, but very, very poor terrain to sort of play off of. Certain little ridges and defilades that are going to be available and prevalent, but not going to be the most secure location. This is going to be intriguing to see how this sort of plays out, because currently for phase 4, the majority of teams are either outside of the circle or on the very far edge. There's not many that are able to hold the central position. sSuspekT should be able to get 1 or 2 here. Bit of a challenge for 36 Cartel though. Molu's knocked down, so is player 4. tNial is going to be the man that is doing the damage here for sSuspekT onto 36 Cartel. The smoke, unfortunately, a little bit too late maybe here. The damage has been done. 36 Cartel go out in 13th.
Yeah, unfortunate. After some pretty nice stuff from them earlier on in the game, getting rid of a couple of the Unicorn Phoenix players on the rotate pass, he thought maybe this is an opportunity for 36 Cartel to start to pick the pace up. But in the end, they are a couple of nice goodie bags for Sharper, who, you know, they kind of need to get the ball rolling themselves. It's been a rough run for Sharper Esports here in PCS 5, but 5 kills in this game so far. And continuing to put in some good work as they now look towards phase number 4. A minute 20 before that crashes in. BN United, this is a little bit of an awkward spot to play from. Not a whole lot of cover. They're going to have to just set up a little compound out of their vehicles, because there isn't any other hard cover to play with. Fury's also decided to exit their buildings. They've actually gotten the jump on Cerberus and Seiryu. These two teams will be headed in their direction, and Fury happy to just lock down this bowl. They've sent inside across the road into the hut. They do have a staging point to head into if need be. But now, of course, they're well and truly inside of the zone, but a little bit wary of what Seiryu is going to be able to do. I'm not sure that Fury is aware of their position. They certainly are concerned about Cerberus. But Seiryu, if they come over the hill at the right time, could be putting a spanner in the works for Fury that they were not anticipating.
And for day trade now, you've got to beg the question, do you take this fight or not? Really, the answer is probably yes, and I don't know if there's an option that says that they can't take this fight. The only option would be if they can get into vehicles and just sort of book it out of there and Eagle 365 don't follow or are unable to in some way. And it looks as if they're on the map down to the south. They've been able to find a vehicle and they can now head over towards Flash. So they're not going to take the fight at all. sLoLZ though with the knockdown onto Sunshine. Seiryu, instead of going into Fury, have decided to go over towards the yellows, going straight around. They are just going to take a detour. They already lost Sunshine though.
Seiryu went one way, Cerberus went the other way. They just drove past each other, and Seiryu ends up where Cerberus was, and Cerberus now ends up where Fury was. So it's all a bit messy. They've gone, you know, all over the place, but they're all mostly alive. So I guess that's good news for both of those two teams as far as they're concerned. BN United in the field, not having a good time.
I don't think any of the teams are having a good time right now with this kind of circle. It's just such an open field circle. I mean, how can you have any fun? You can't go central, you can't play compounds, you don't want to go in too early, but you also don't want to go in too late. These are one of the more stressful games that you can probably have.
Yep, definitely agree with you. Teams that are sitting pretty at the moment seem like ArkAngel Predator, really, and maybe Eagle 365 out on their side of the map. Things aren't quite popping off as much as the other side. BN United are really having a tough time. Easy Esports with a shooting gallery established on top of the buildings that they control. Easy Esports will have to revel in the enjoyment of this because inevitably they're going to be the team that is in BN United's shoes once they have to move out of their buildings. And that is going to be coming in the next minute and a half. sSuspekT trying to get ahead of the zone. Working their way down the road. They've run into attack all around. They've both pulled up next to one another. Yanku hiding behind the Dacia, but shots coming in on the Daytrade as well. Oh, the kill feed starts to light up. What is happening, Xenox? Shots all over the place. And Seiryu is out. Attack all around are doing a number onto sSuspekT, but so is sSuspekT onto attack all around. It's an absolute mess.
Valmorph, the only one left for sSuspekT. It is definitely a mess, turning into an absolute carnage of a battlefield here. Fury also getting lit up. They went inside of a shack and it has not worked out well for them whatsoever. Typically when you do, it doesn't work out well. Ykikamucow steps out, steps up, but unfortunately cannot do any more than that. Got the knock onto him, but sLoLZ will finish off the rest of Fury. They're out in 10th. Hysaki ends up bleeding out. We're down to just 31 alive. All of a sudden, it's just all kicked off pretty rapidly as well.
Yeah. Nuclear strikes coming through from attack all around with these grenades, but they receive one in turn from Clories. And attack all around is out in 9th place. Game Home coming off of the Pachinki Hill, starting to frag out a little bit. Easy Esports are doing the same out toward the western side of the map, and it's out towards the west where things are really starting to heat up a little bit. ArkAngel Predator and Eagle 365 have run into one another, and somehow BN United have actually managed to keep 4 players alive.
22.5 minutes gone, 7 teams, 26 alive. 5 seconds until phase 6. 4 up for Eagle 365 still. There's only 3 teams left, by the way, Jordan, that have a win. Looking for a second. It's MS John Burry still inside of that shack. ArkAngel Predator with 3 up, and BN United as well, with all 4 alive. Is there an opportunity for one of those 3 teams to maybe find a second chicken dinner? YungB, though, as I'm talking about them. YungB, no!
What?
He got knocked! He was throwing the nade and he got knocked. As it then fell out of his hands, it has ended up on his teammates. This is still courtesy of Easy Esports. They've been able to make this happen by getting that knock onto YungB. It's so unfortunate, but it's not his fault at all. They get wiped out. Well... Easy Esports make easy work of BN United.
It was going well for BN United, all things considered. I thought they had 4 players alive from a really difficult position. I was thinking, you know what, maybe they're pulling off some magic here, but then that happens, so it's all good until it's not, and they're out of the picture now, which is great news for Easy Esports and ArkAngel Predator. Really frees up the western side. Look at this barrage of grenades heading in from MSC.
Oh my
Another
God.
bunch of them. It's like 8 grenades thrown in from MSC as they start to try to make their cross on towards Eagle 365. It's worked out. That was a hail of grenades.
Yeah, like a hailstorm of grenades. I know what you're on about there, Jordan. Look at this mini-map, though. It is so congested. There's not much space, and not only that, but you can basically just see everyone. Vandal9 has no idea That Road gets the easy knock, should get the easy kill. Fight back though, established from Chibiritt. CJ trying to use a bit of this overwatch position to just look over this field. Julio's knocked and finished by Flash. 6 teams left, 19 alive. The winner chicken dinner percentage backing in Game Home. And I've got to say, I agree. They've got 4 alive. They've got a decent position of the circle up towards the north. All these teams towards the southwest are obviously going to do a lot of damage on each other. Game Home can just sort of sit up north and allow this all to happen and then creep in at the end and get the win. They're looking very good here.
There's the MSC effect. Let everyone else finish off one another. Great grenade from Y8. Lands on top of AljnBOTz. He's down. ArkAngel Predator certainly looking like they're hurting at the moment. Evil Patrick desperately trying to get his mates back up. AljnBOTz is behind a little bit of cover. It's not hard cover, it's just visual cover. But he may yet still survive if there's some magic to be pulled off here by ArkAngel Predator, or maybe a third party. Not the case for ArkAngel Predator, but the latter certainly rings true. Game Home have decided now is their opportunity to strike, and they fired a lot of shots into Easy Esports for not a huge amount of reward, all things considered. It's just one knock.
Ooh. The other thing to take from this as well, with ArkAngel Predator out, we're going to find another winner. We're going to have a 9th winner, Jordan. We're going to have 9 separate winners here for week 3 so far. With 3 games to go, could we maybe get 12 different winners? I don't think we've ever had that. No, we definitely have never had that.
Definitely not.
In the APAC region, maybe in any region.
I can't imagine that's happened before.
Week.
I feel like if that had happened, I would have heard about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's someone in the chat that can sort of update us if that is the case, but I'm pretty sure we've never had 12 separate winners in a week of PCS. We're certainly on the way to it at the moment. This will be 9, and there's no way around it. dTRycK, Game Home, Eagle365, and Easy Esports have not found themselves a win so far. Smell is quite eager to pick one up for Easy Esports. Vandal9 dropping alongside one of the other Eagle365 players, and that's Eagle365 out of the picture. So I guess we're down to the top 3 now.
Yeah. Apparently it has happened in EU, by the way, Jordan. Okay. So there you go. Unfortunately, EU time's not very friendly for us. Being, I think, about 6 in the morning or so.
Oh, probably worse than that, to be fair. I think it's probably like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, but Game Home from here should be winning. Although Easy Esports have got 4 alive, they're in that pinch position, right? dTRycK to the south of them, Game Home a little bit to the sort of north, east position of them, trying to just flush them away from that tractor, which has actually worked really well. Phase 7, still actually quite a bit of time. This could probably stall out for a while here if Game Home play the MS Chonburi approach from the last game on Miramar, where they really just sort of take their time here. We can very much go into that sort of snake play for a couple of minutes with this sort of field ending, unless, obviously, you just spot them in the grass. Norrens is going to go down to Smell. 1 left for dTRycK now. How much longer are we going to see Flash be able to survive? He gets spotted as well immediately by Smell. XinV, though, is going to be the one to find the kill. Down to a 4 versus 4.
This is nice. This is nice. It has been a little while. We haven't seen it tonight. A good old-fashioned 4-on-4. Just which one of these teams has the greatest skill, has the better team fighting, has that ability to get that initial knock, which feels so damn impactful. The algorithm favoring Game Home at the moment, and I'd say that's because they have taken very nice control of the circle. 3007 getting some shots onto Klee. Not enough to finish him off. The circle shift is about as good as Easy Esports could have hoped for. It means that they don't have to move too far. And Game Home, for all the work that they've done, aren't really rewarded by anything too beneficial. But it is still favorable for Game Home here. With the position that Cloris is holding down, they have a player in the center. Once that circle starts to move directly into the center, then they're in a better spot than Easy Esports is.
Yeah, Game Home's definitely got more of the circle to play off of here. Easy Esports are going to need to find the first knock, play off of that, try and play off of each other as well, really. They can't separate too much. For Game Home, of course, can maybe spread out, try and get a lot of that circle, corral them, make it a little bit harder for them to sort of move away from these positions. It's all about just not overplaying this, though. Don't overextend. Don't give Easy Esports an opportunity to find an easy knock, in fact, or creating sort of 2 or 3v1 scenarios where you're trying to flank the edge and then you get caught. The same can be said as well for Easy Esports. You know, sometimes you might want to say send XinV a little bit up north, try and see if you can get a bit of ground, but you know, if he then gets caught, might not be able to get revived. A lot of it also comes down to utility. that is still available for both teams. I think Easy Esports has definitely been more in the action than, say, Game Home. So you would have to expect Game Home to probably have more smokes, more nades, and that's going to help them in this fight as well.
Yeah, something to think about, though, that maybe Easy Esports has a few more loot boxes over on their side to pick stuff up of. I mean, 3 nades there, 2 smokes, 2 mollies for 3007. We'll see through the rest of the players as we cycle past them. 5 smokes for Clories. Not too bad. And that grenade lands almost perfectly. Klee is just going to have to back up away from that Dacia, as it is going to go flying. He's lost his hard cover now. Bit of a wistful look over toward that car, I'd say, but he can just crawl his way back across. It's sort of on a tenterhooks at the moment, isn't it, Xenox? 4 on 4.
Yeah, but it's normal.
It feels like if you make that one mistake, if you're the player to get knocked, you might throw this game away for your team. And considering how close the week is at the moment, you could be throwing away tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and I think this overview here really highlights the strength of Game Home's position. They have center of the circle. Easy Esports are the ones that need to move. Nice shots from 3007 to find the knockdown onto Shin V. And this is where Game Home now decide, okay, well, the decision has been made. Now is the time to find the win. The nade. The second one, 3007. He has them lined up with a name on each nade for each of them. Smell down to 5 health, pushed into the blue.